Hey everyone, welcome back for another video. My name is Tanya for those of you that are new here, and I am a watercolor artist. Valentine's Day is just a few days away, so I wanted to paint a heart for you, but not just any heart. It's going to be a whimsical, colorful, floral heart. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so I have my watercolor paper. I have my Winsor Newton watercolors. I have 2 cups of water, one for cool colors, one for warm colors. I have a pencil, an eraser, a couple different size brushes, and then one of these archival ink pens. So we're gonna start with the shape of our heart and just gonna lightly sketch it out. It doesn't matter what size paper you have. And you can actually do any shape you want. I just thought since Valentine's Day is in a couple days, it'd be cute to do a heart. So just lightly sketch in. You can make your heart as big as you want. And don't worry if the sides don't match up perfectly. You're gonna be filling this in with flowers anyways. All right, so there is a generic heart. Pick any colors you want. I'm not going to be telling you the specific colors I'm using. I'm just going to be using shades of green, blue, pink, purple, orange. So pick any colors you want. And go ahead and get your watercolors nice and wet. And what you're going to want to do is have a couple different focal points. So maybe like a bigger flower on this side, maybe a bigger flower down in the middle, down towards the bottom. So just kind of have a couple focal points and then we're going to fill it in from there. And I'm going to do kind of a pinky purple one up here, and it's going to be the shape of a rose. Just a very whimsical, not realistic, just very loose shape of a rose. And then you can come in and pop in, let's go. I'm going to pop in a little bit of pink right in the center there and just let it bleed out a little bit. All right, so we're going to let that dry, and we're going to go on to another flower. Let's say we want more of an orange rose, maybe down on this side. And all it is I'm going in like a oval, like a spiral, just to kind of give it the look of an open rose. And then here again, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to pop in a little bit of my darker color right in the middle, let it bleed out. So we got a couple different focal points going on right now because they're going to be the bigger flowers. I'm going to go ahead and just make this one a little bit larger with just a little water. You can come in and manipulate the shape a little bit if you want it to be a little bit larger. And then don't worry about overlapping your pencil marks. We're going to go ahead and erase that right at the very end anyways. It's just to kind of give you just an idea of where your heart is so you kind of keep your florals or whatever shapes you're doing inside your heart. And you don't even have to do flowers if you don't want to. You could do all sorts of different shapes. Let's go ahead and pick, actually I want a different purpley flower right in here. So I'm going to do just my generic rose again, just with a shaky hand. And you're going to want to leave a little white space in there. See how in my flowers you see a little bit of white space? So you're not covering the whole thing. And then I'm going to pop in a little bit of that darker color, let it bleed out. Actually, I'm going to pop in a little bit of purple in this pink too. That'd be really pretty. All right, so let's go on to some leaves. I'm just picking up a couple different greens here, maybe an emerald green, maybe a sap green. And I am going to put in a stem right here, maybe the kind of mimicking the shape of my heart here. And then I'm going to just pop in some leaves. You can make your leaves as big as you want. You can alter the color a little bit, I'll add a little more yellow so it's a little bit more of a limey leaf down here, more of an emerald green on top. So just have fun with it. Just add all sorts of colors to your green. Then it gives it a little bit more of a visual interest if you add a little bit of different colors to it. Like now I'm just going to pop in a little bit of that darker green right in the stem there. It just gives it, as it dries, it gives it a little bit more of a visual interest if you've got the push and pull of lights and darks, rather than it all being a solid color. Let's go ahead and add, and it's okay if your colors blend together, like if my leaf were to hit my rose right here, like that, totally fine. It looks really, really pretty when it does bleed into each other. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit more of that green, that emerald green down here. Okay, all right. So just have fun with this. Just keep adding all sorts of shapes, all different kinds of flowers. Let's see, maybe I want like a different orange flower. I'll start out with 3 different little dots right there. Take a clean brush with just some water and bleed them out. Bleed them out just so they're like petals. And then you can connect them in the middle. And if it's a little too dark for you, just lift it up with just some water, pick up the paint, wipe it off on your paper towel. Okay. Let's do maybe some blue. Maybe I'll do a couple little blue, more like, almost like little berry type flowers. I'll add a few of those here and there, because you also want to think about balance. You just want to make sure that your shape is balanced out. So if you add a little blue over here, maybe add a little blue on the opposite side. Same thing with the orange, green. I'm going to add some green up this way. Just have it balanced a little bit. So just have that in the back of your mind as well. And you just want to fill in this heart. Okay, I want to bring in some more pink. So let's see, I want to do a little flower down here. This one's got more little petals. And I'll do a couple of those, almost like a little cluster of it. You could do as many as you want. And it's okay to overlap the petals. And I think I want them a little bit lighter than that, so I'm going to go in with just a clean brush, pick up some of that paint, lighten them up a little bit. Like that. I think I'm going to do a couple more of those. Let that dry. And let's go ahead and add a little bit more green. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow also. Kind of mix my green and my green and my yellow together. Give me a little bit more of a limey. It's okay to go over your pencil, like I said before, totally fine. And it's okay to go outside of your shape a little bit, but just try not to go too much out of your shape. That's all. You just want to kind of keep the shape of the heart. But it's okay to be poking through it. Let's add maybe another strand of the leaves up here. And we'll add a little bit, add a little yellow to that. Make it a little bit more limey. Add a little yellow to these. So it's okay to even blend your colors on the paper. You don't always have to blend your colors on the palette. You can also just keep adding colors straight onto your painting. Maybe I'll do some of those little clusters down here. And I'm just picking up all sorts of colors. I have no rhyme or reason to this. If you wanted to do an all blue color scheme or an all green color scheme, that'd be really pretty too. I'm just choosing to make it nice and vibrant and colorful for you. Let's do more orange. Maybe I'll put another orange right up here. And there, see how my green hit my orange? So they're bleeding together. Totally fine. Let's do maybe some more aqua. Let's do an aqua color. Let's do maybe a little flower down here. And my blue and my pink just went together. That's fine. So you can have some that are clustered together, and then you can have some that are like kind of spread apart all throughout your shape. Let's add more green. So you're going to want to just start filling in your shape, even if you're just adding little dots of color here and there. So it's okay if it doesn't really have, you know, like a definite shape to it, like a flower or a leaf. You just want to keep adding just to kind of fill up some of that. You do want to leave a little bit of light white space in the background, but you don't want to leave too much. So let's pick up some blue. And you could just start adding in here or there now that you did most of your shapes. You could just start adding in just to fill in a little bit of the white space. All right, and let's see, I'm going to add a little more green this way. Right now, this side of my heart, the shape, looks a little bit stronger than this side, so I'm going to kind of redefine it a little bit on this side. And just bring in a little bit more greenery over here. And if you want to add in a little bit of like pops of color here and there, like I'm just going to deepen up my rose here right in the middle. I could deepen up all the little roses. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. It's just brightening everything up a little bit. Let's see. Bring in a little purple in these pink flowers. Maybe just a little dot in the center of them. So you're just starting to give a little bit more detail. Maybe I'll put a little bit of orange in the middle of some of these yellow flowers. And if you want a little bit of green, like maybe a different color green in some of your leaves, just to give it a little bit more definition. Popping in just a little bit of red on some of my oranges, just to deepen them up a little bit. There, that looks really pretty. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and dry this, and then we're gonna add a little bit of pen to this. Okay, so once your painting has dried, just go ahead and take an eraser and erase that pencil mark. Okay. And then we're going to add a little bit of pen to this. So I have one of these archival ink pens. This is a size 05. And I'm just going to go ahead and add maybe a little bit of character. So some of these leaves, maybe just outline some of them. Maybe put a little bit of like the veining in your leaves. You don't have to do all the leaves. Maybe just a little bit, just add a little bit more of a dimension to this painting. And you can skip this part if you don't want to. If you like the look of just the plain watercolor and no pen, then that's perfect. Then your painting is pretty much done unless you want to go add in a few more colors here and there. But I always like adding a little bit of pen to my paintings. It just defines my shapes a little bit. So see, I'm just going around some of my leaves a little bit. And you don't have to be too detailed about this, and you don't have to go over your shapes perfectly. It's actually nice. I like the way it looks when your pen doesn't completely match up your painting and it just looks off a little bit. It just looks a little bit more hand painted. I like that look. And I'm gonna go in and bring in the stem a little bit. Maybe I'll do a little pen on some of these leaves. If you wanted to go in and pop a little bit of color on some of your flowers, you could do that. Like right here, my colors mix together, so there's really no definition of a flower right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add little circles, almost like they were little berries, kind of like that. You can go ahead and add as many as you want. So even if your paint kind of lost the definition of the flower and it doesn't look like a flower anymore, it looks more like a blob, you can go in and fix it with a pen. And then it just looks like little berries or little clusters of flowers. Like this flower here lost its definition a little bit. So I went in and I painted, outlined that flower a little bit. And like I said before, you don't have to do all your flowers. Just go in and add maybe just a few. And I'm just going in with a broken line. It's like a push and a pull of the pen. So instead of if you were just to just go straight down your page with just one pressure on the pen, obviously your pen is just gonna look the same. But if you're pushing and pulling the pen, you get more of a broken look, and it just gives it a little bit more play of darks and lights. That's what I'm finding. So especially when I go ahead and I do my roses, here I'll go ahead and do this rose for you. I'm gonna be going in a circle, in an oval shape, just like I did with the paint, but I'm gonna be pushing and pulling my pen so it gets darker and lighter. So it's almost like a shaky, shaky hand. You see that? And then when you're done with your pen, you can always write something on it if you want to. I'm just gonna go ahead and just write love in cursive on an angle here. There, you could go ahead and write whatever you want. And if you want to get a little bit more detailed, we can go ahead and add some splatter marks in the back. I think I'm going to go ahead and add kind of a purpley splatter mark. So go ahead and get your purple on your palette, nice and saturated with some water. So make sure there's enough water in there so you can make your splatter marks. And what I do is I just take another pen and I just tap it. And it doesn't matter if you go over your painting too much, especially this painting, because it's so detailed, you're not even going to see the little purple marks. There. Perfect. And then you can either frame this, give it away, you could even turn it into a Valentine's card. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you liked it and learned a little something. And if you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, and you can leave a comment in the comment section. And you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos like this one. Have a great day. Bye.